Shrikant, slide please. Hey, hello everyone. Good evening. I think we are waiting for Sai Krishna also to join. Welcome JP sir. Welcome Suresh. Welcome Priyesh. Thanks for joining the event.
Thank you. Pleasure to be part of this group.
Thank you. We are waiting for Sai Krishna also to join. Maybe a minute. We would start.
So good evening, everyone. This is Shrikant. We will start in a minute. Sushma, let us know when we are going to start.
Yeah, sure. We have Sai Krishna also joined. So Srikant, we can go ahead.
Thank you, Sushma. Good evening, everyone. Today, myself, Shrikant, on behalf of HAS Foundation, would like to welcome you all, our guest of honor, the esteemed panelists, and all our lovely guests who have joined through various platforms, Zoom or YouTube, for the official launch of ITEY, where the focus is on nurturing youth and work-life preparedness. So as a part of today's agenda, we would cover the following: a brief address by our founder, Sushma Bopanna, followed by a keynote address by Dr. Jay Prakash Narayan, who is a founder and president of Lok Satta Party, which would be followed by the digital launch of our website, post which we would have our panelists sharing their views on this initiative, which would be followed by the Q&A and vote of thanks. Before handing over to Sushma, I would definitely like to let you all know something about her. So Sushma, who is the founder of HAS Foundation, comes with 18 plus years of software experience, with a passion of contributing back to the society. She is a neuro-linguistic program practitioner where she serves as a parent coach. She is also a certified counseling psychologist and dermatographic consultant. Along with that, she's also a life skill ambassador and trainer at Women's India Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the Karnataka chapter. With no further delay, let me hand it over to Sushma to take it forward. Sushma, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Srikant, for introducing me. Good evening. Thank you all for making your valuable time to participate in the digital launch of ITEY, an initiative driven by HAS Foundation. I, Sushma Bopanna, as founder of ITEY, and on behalf of all members of ITEY, would like to take a moment in specially welcoming our esteemed honorable guest, Mr. Jay Prakash Narayan sir, and distinguished panel members, Mr. Suresh Patluri, Mr. Priyesh, Sai Krishna, and all the well-wishers who are part of Zoom session and YouTube Live. Now, I would like to invite JP sir, an IAS officer who is well known for being a liberal politician and is the founder of Lok Satta Party and played a key role in development of high-tech city Hyderabad and pushed for growth of software industry. He is also an eminent speaker who inspired many students by his talks. He keenly promotes change in society by identifying our strengths and being we as the change to start first. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invite and gracing this event. And I would also like to introduce our panel members, Mr. Suresh Potluri, founder and managing partner of M3BI, His 25 years of software industry experience and being a strategic thinker enabled him to start a new company and being responsible for leading company's technology delivery. Suresh, one of the accomplishments at M3BI include establishing the offshore delivery center in Hyderabad and promoting rural engineering students to the organization. Thank you, Suresh, for joining. I would also like to welcome Mr. Priyesh, currently head of HR at Raxul India. He has an overall experience of 19 years with specialization in rewards and talent management. And at last, would like to welcome our panel member, Professor Sai Krishna Kota, who is a Dean Training and Placements at Gudluvellari Engineering College. He is also the founder and president of AP Training and Placement Officer Consortium. I'm really excited that we are launching ITEY Invest to Empower Youth project in the presence of panel, ITEY members, and well-wishers who have digitally joined. So I want to take a few moments to share why ITEY has been formed. What I observed was, in an ever-growing technology and data-driven world, much of the focus in education has understandably taken a shift towards STEM-based initiatives that will only prepare students' careers for the future, but they lack focus in building character and shaping their personality. For last 2 years, especially during the pandemic, I voluntarily worked with various NGOs who were providing online training to rural engineering freshers and job seekers on the basic soft skills training. In this process, I got connected to more than 3,000 students, which helped me to take a lot of surveys and identify the challenges or gaps these students are facing in this ever-evolving competitive world. So data analysis clearly showed me that despite of having sparking degree scores and being very well academically, students lacked skills to showcase their competence to the employers. Identified gaps also shows that student lacks life skills, which is stopping them to showcase their strengths to employers. Or in other words, they are lacking to build their personal branding. So most of the trainings provided by NGOs or even for the other trainers were post their graduation and not during their academics. So pursuing line of deep thought, I thought we should create programs and training frameworks which will mainly focus on building skills for workplace readiness and for their life in advance. And also to massively help, we needed a platform where a lot of experienced professionals from software industry like us would join as volunteers and share their work experience, thus inspiring youth. So HAS Foundations identified this need and decided to give proactive trainings in advance during their ongoing academic schedule, which would focus on core skills required for workplace preparedness and life. So IT project has been created and here is our vision and mission. So our vision, IT envision youth of today to be armed with life skills in view of their own limitations and emerge victorious to face a competitive world. The aim is to create transformational programs which emphasize on life skills to help youth in becoming keen collaborative learners, progressive thinkers, handling various challenges, and effective speakers. And our vision to achieve this vision is to keep at center the 10 core life skills defined by UNESCO, UNICEF, WHO, and design custom modules enriching core skills targeting engineering students of rural India. So using digital training model as a strategic approach, IT focuses on delivering high quality virtual training sessions. So to achieve the mission, we have certain values which we placed in ITEY. So we are at the simplicity, passion, impact, and respect and leadership. So simplicity in the way we want to approachable and the way our training modules to make impact for transformational life experiences. We are passionate about everything we do and we have a clear purpose with which we work it designed strategically to empower youth and make them invincible. Impact, we create a lasting and a positive impact on youth and we believe every day is a new day to make a change and add value. Our purpose is driven through zeal, motivation and passion in our training sessions. We value everyone's strengths and perspective, especially those with life experience significantly different from ours. Leadership, to collaborate is to multiply the goodness. So we aim to lead and encourage diversified background professionals to join ITEY. So with this, would like to ask JP sir to do the keynote address of the initiative we are doing.
Thank you, Sushma. First, let me congratulate the ITEY team and the HAS Foundation and all the leaders of education and employment and training and human resource development that are participating in this deliberation. What you're doing is incredibly important. Important all over the world because of the changing circumstances, but particularly so in India. You mentioned that a lot of focus is there in our education on STEM education. The truth is 80% don't even get STEM education. We just get degrees and certificates, which are inconsequential for life. And the 20% who get some decent education in terms of technology and science have simply no capacity for critical thinking, application of knowledge, and logical faculties to innovate. That's the context in which we're meeting. There's no need for panic at all because, in my view, in a large measure, university and college education is an expensive waste for most people. Therefore, if they flounder there, all is not lost, as long as the basics are sound. So what I would appeal is, as you said, Sushma, focus on 3 things that matter. And just to elaborate a little bit so that we understand why we are trying to do this. It's not merely because somebody gave us a mantra. Let me spend a minute or two on each of these 3 areas. The first is communication. It's a unique need and opportunity for human society alone, because we alone have the capacity to learn from our own mistakes of the past, learn from others, transfer our learnings to our peers, and to transfer it to next generation. And above all, we alone have the capacity to work in very large teams and collaborate. Yeah. Each of these activities, learning from the past, learning from others, transferring to others, and to next generation, and to collaborate on a large scale, the key is communication. Communication is not about flowery language. It's not about the meter, in Telugu as we call it, chandasu. It's about lucidity and clarity of thought and effective transmission of whatever you have in mind. Yeah. We are woefully inadequate for a society with such a remarkable oral tradition. For millennia, we have a remarkable tradition, and yet we are some of the most inarticulate people on earth today. And sometimes we confuse verbiage, a lot of verbosity, with articulate communication. What we require is lucidity, clarity, effectiveness in communication, as far as practicable brevity, not verbosity. And it can be acquired. Certainly, a lifetime's training and experience will help, but it can be acquired without too much difficulty. The second is, whether it's STEM or any other branch of learning, our kids are good at rote learning, mugging up formulae, training intensively, and then regurgitating in the examination, and promptly forgetting all about it. Because there is neither adequate comprehension of concepts, nor the capacity to apply them for real problem solving. Yeah. And unless what we learned is applicable in solving the problems of real life around us, in the most part, that knowledge is inconsequential. It's only for the examinations. We have to discover the passion to solve problems. You may not be extraordinarily technologically proficient. There will be always a few people who are proficient, and they'll be at the apex of the food chain in terms of the creation of new knowledge. But application of available knowledge is critical for the bulk of the people. And therefore, the second one is critical thinking for application of knowledge. Again, woefully inadequate in our educational enterprise, in the large part. The third is innovation. It's necessary for any society because humanity is all about innovation. Even 100 years ago, 200 years ago, the way we were and what we are today, there simply is no comparison. We are what we are because of the unique capacity for innovation. And that innovation is now accelerating at a breathtaking pace. And there is now a remarkable synthesis, a remarkable fusion of the three extraordinary technologies of the last century or so, or last 2 centuries. The physical, all the engineering that we talk about most of the time, the digital and the biological, they're all now fusing together. They're indistinguishable. And that fusion is leading to extraordinary innovation and a world that we cannot even recognize 20, 30 years hence. And therefore, unless we innovate, unless we have the capacity to apply logic rigorously, systematically, we will not be of great value for the future.
Yeah.
Therefore, to my mind, these are the three vital skills. We may add another 100, but these are the three vital skills in order to be able to make a difference in the coming days. Now, just one word about employment, more for the kids than for the educators here. Somehow in India, even today, there is a very dangerous notion that is perpetuated, that employment is about the paper, the degree that you have. And the government will simply invite you and give a job and feed you through the rest of your life, unrelated to your outcomes, your productivity. I think we must disabuse ourselves of those silly notions.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the world can somebody give employment to somebody else. Employment is a product of your capacity to produce goods and services that the society needs. The society's needs are fulfilled, and in return, you get employment. That's the deal. Because we are part of the society. You and I cannot feed somebody else unless our needs are fulfilled. Similarly, they cannot feed us unless their needs are fulfilled. It's as simple as that. Employment is a product of human organization and complexity and specialization. And unless we have the capacity to truly produce goods and services of quality at an affordable cost, that includes science and technology, that includes teaching and medicine, not merely material goods. Unless we have that capacity, we will not be employable. If a small number of people, because of the systemic distortions, do get a government employment or some other cushy job without producing anything, they are parasites in the rest of society. Apart from the moral implications of it, there simply is no way a significant proportion can be employed that way. Maybe a small number can be parasites. Unless the bulk of us produce, there is no way there can be employment. This is a hard truth. We are failing to tell our kids. We are simply asking them to focus on examinations and degrees without understanding how society actually functions. What exactly is employment? This is a self-evident proposition, but I think we have to reiterate that every single day in our society, particularly. Many other societies don't have that problem because the idea of work ethic, the idea that my work is to fulfill your needs and therefore I get my income to sustain myself, is ingrained in their upbringing and in their culture. In our society, in our culture, sadly, that simply is not part of our ethos, particularly in the organized sector. The unorganized sector, the bulk of the poor people of India, 90%, they intuitively understand they have to provide a service to others in order to get their sustenance. It is the so-called better off sections, the educated sections that have become a problem in our society. I'm sorry that I have to use harsh words. We have to inculcate in the minds of our youngsters that employment is a product of fulfilling the human needs. There is no substitute to that. And therefore, we must have the capacity to really envision the world of the future.
Yeah.
And the world of the future is changing radically, as I mentioned, as we all know. Some scholars, and I'm sure many of you are human resource experts, you can tell me better than I can say. They say about 80% of the jobs that the young people today are going to perform in their lifetimes, they have not yet been created. We probably have some sense of some of these jobs. The radical transformation of the energy sector, for instance. The changes in the biology and genomic technologies and so on and so forth, for instance. And a whole lot of that. But I don't think anybody has really a clear idea of the mapping of what kind of jobs we have in the future. We only can have a general sense of it. Therefore, our preparedness must be in a broader sense, with a deeper understanding of what the societal needs are going to be in a changing world. Otherwise, if you're preparing for the past is going to die very soon, much faster than ever before during this generation. Finally, I'm a great optimist. While we as a society have many challenges, we live in a fantastic age. With all our dysfunctionality, with all our failings, there is not one of us who can claim that our parents' lives were better than ours. If somebody believes that, they're living a lie. In each of our lives, each of our families, our lives are infinitely better than our parents' lives or our lives if you're old enough like me, 30 years ago, let us say. Things are getting better, radically better in a very short span of time. We have, for the first time in human history, the capacity to fulfill human potential and to avoid all avoidable suffering. These are dreams that our ancestors had in all cultures, all societies for millennia. But they were mere dreams in those days. But today, these are no longer dreams which cannot be fulfilled. These are well within our reach. And many societies are very close to achieving that. We in India are also well on course. Of course, we committed many mistakes. We still are committing some mistakes. But a bit of a course correction, we can radically change that. So optimism. The despair that youngsters sometimes feel is very distressing to me.
Yeah.
Even from some of the finest institutions like medical schools, etc., I find a lot of despair, a lot of anguish, a lot of fear of the future. Shed that. Take it as a challenge. Be excited about the remarkable opportunities that are opening up in the world. Enjoy the technological and societal leaps that are taking place all over. Get into that. In thought, in word, and in deed. You'll be a part of that, you'll enjoy it, you'll celebrate it, you'll benefit from that, and you will contribute to that. So be optimistic. If only you have some ability, some skill, some passion, you have a fantastic life ahead, and your lives are going to be much better than your parents' lives. So do it with joy, do it with dignity, but have a sense of self-esteem. A lot of young people in India are wasting their resources, their time, and their lung power on trivial issues. They're trying to be somebody's camp followers or palanquin bearers or some fans. There's nothing wrong in respecting and admiring people who achieve success. But let young people remember that they are heroes in their own lives. The others are heroes only to the extent that what the others do and say have an impact on their lives. None of us sitting here are pontificating or of any consequence to the young people unless what we say, what we do actually has a meaning to their lives. At the end of the day, it's about your lives, the young people. That self-esteem, that confidence, even as you respect and value and celebrate successes of others, that's necessary. Oftentimes, I find that is lacking in many of our young people. We require much more confident, self-assured, dignified younger people with optimism, with empowerment. You're doing a fantastic job, Sushma, and all of you. I congratulate you on this work, and I hope many, many such things will happen all over the country. And in the coming years, some of the dilemmas that we have today, we'll find meaningful and realistic solutions to be able to come out of the mess. Thank you.
Thank you, JP sir. That was so inspiring talk. And we really agree with you. The key skills which you said about the youth need to have, especially on effective communications, critical thinking, and creative thinking. I think we are working on the same lines. So these three are one of the skills defined by UNESCO, UNICEF, and WHO. So we design programs around that, so that youth actually will take because everyone has life skills within, but it's just that how to re-enable and use it. So we just want to go and make them rediscover again, use the skills which you have, use to the potential your strengths, and then brand yourself. And as you said, it's not about preparing for university, we have to prepare youth for the universe. So I think a great message to all the youth, and I'm sure everyone is going to inspire by your talk. Thank you, sir. And with this, I would like to call our panel members to address on the theme which we are working. So would like to go to Suresh sir. Suresh, would you like to speak few words?
Sure. First of all, good evening, Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan Garu and everyone here today for the inauguration of ITEY. It's my pleasure to be here. And Sushma and team, congratulations. I mean, this is fantastic. I am me. I have been through this journey, and I came from a small village, and I know where I started. I know what I went through, and the scenarios that you guys are talking about, I faced most of those. And I'm so happy and happy that Sushma, you are starting this organization, and it's my honor to be here today. And congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you. And would like to call Mr. Priyesh to speak about few words.
Am I audible, Sushma?
Yes, Priyesh.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me for being part of this particular session and the journey forward. It was very nice listening to JP sir. I think what he said it summarizes the kind of challenges that we in the corporate world face, when we hire talent from outside. So I think some of the points that he spoke about were like absolute essentials when it comes to talent management. And I think one particular point which I want to at the outside make is, now, as you all know, most corporates work on a work from home basis, and there's a huge opportunity for people, for students in the tier 3, tier 2 cities, from the rural setup, so-called rural setup, which is no longer rural. Actually, we have students whom we have hired who are exceedingly sharp, who come with a lot of competence, but they have their own struggles. I mean, it's not that struggles are not there, but they have the quality which is equal to anybody from any of the large cities. So we can see that there is a trend where hiring is going to move closer to tier 3 cities, because they don't need to come to Bangalore or Hyderabad or any of the large cities. They can work from their respective homes. And I belong to an organization which is completely virtual. We do not have a physical office, and all my engineers are remotely working. So it's a huge opportunity for students, and that's where your organization ITEY comes into play. And I think you can build that bridge so that students can get those opportunities. So it's a great venture that you have taken, and it's a very noble venture as well, because you're trying to help somebody to become successful. So congratulations to you and to your team, and yeah, very happy to be part of this.
Thank you, Priyesh. So would like to ask Mr. Professor Sai Krishna to speak few words about this.
Yeah, very good evening to all. Am I audible, Sushma?
Yes.
Yeah. One thing, first of all, I would like to convey my sincere thanks and regards to Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan for speaking in a wonderful way, because he has thrown some light and his speech is thought-provoking. In fact, the need of the hour. So, in fact, I got a lot of inspiration when I look at him speaking over the television, and when I attend these training sessions or the intellectual sessions in which he has been speaking about the current problems and how to prepare the young generation for the future. At the outset, when I was invited for this particular launch program, I was really thinking what could be the new initiative that ITEY can adopt, because there are a lot of several organizations which have been coming into the market with a lot of other themes, and everybody is now talking about the communication skills, behavioral skills, attitude, and grooming, nurturing, whatever you call. But when, as the dean of the recruitments or the placements in my college over the last 2 decades, whatever the company that comes to my campus to pick the young talent from the engineering stream, there are 2 areas in which these recruiters look at. One is the technical skill set, call it as the technical competencies, and then the communication competencies. So somewhere I read, when I was a student, I read some statement like, transformation is not complete without the communication skills. And there was an image, an ape and then a human being. In between the statement is written, transformation is not possible or is not complete without the communication skills. So when the recruiters come to my campus, they screen almost 1,000 or 1,100 students, and they say that, yeah, 40% and 50% students are good. But when they were put for the interview, the end feedback was something scary. And then that has become a major concern always. because out of this 40% who have cleared the entry test or the technical test, again 80% of them were literally pushed outside the opportunity because they don't have the communication skills, or rather if they have communication skills, they have the right attitude to present themselves, or they don't have proper behavioral skills. I categorize these communication skills and behavioral skills as part of the life skills. Yeah. Balancing both the technical skills and the life skills, and preparing our young generation for the future and making them industry ready. I completely concurrent with Dr. JP, for in one thing, like, employment is not just like, a survival, or it's a reward given to any, human being. It's something like we are fulfilling the needs of the society, and in return we are getting the income. So if we want to fulfill the needs of the society, we have to make the students understand the societal needs also. Our education system should in fact focus more on the pain points that the society is suffering today, because there are a lot of pain points in every sector. You take it as the medical domain, or you take it as the agriculture, education, in whatever the areas that you look at, there are a lot of several pain points. First of all, our young generation who are in the colleges right now should understand what are the different pain points of the society, and if they understand these pain points, probably they can come up with a solution which can be integrated with the technology to arrive at a technological conclusion, and in turn it takes the shape of a prototype and can give a technological solution maybe in 2 years or 3 years, whatever the time that they take. So in between this slice of articulating themselves in a clear way and understanding the society, and and behaving or responding back to the societal needs, once they understand the requirements, they should respond, or they should react to the situation. So, and I foresee ITEY plays a predominant role in making the students understanding the societal needs and societal requirements, so that we can produce the human resources which are useful for the society. Of course, they're doing jobs, they're getting their income, but on the other hand, they are fulfilling the needs and requirements of the society also. And I'm happy to see that your team has come forward to transform this generation and making the students making the students ready for the future, and giving some kind of orientation to them, or taking them through the process of understanding these life skills, behavioral skills, and how to balance the work life and the personal life. Because after the pandemic, as Priyesh has rightly mentioned, world has become so virtual today. So 60% of the resources are working from home, and when we are working from home, we should understand how to balance our personal life and how to dedicate the time for our organization, and there should not be any overlapping. So until and unless the students are so clear, are they're are so matured, they cannot do this. So we can't expect that once they are posted or deployed on the projects or on the job, they don't find much time to acquire all these skills. It's better if we focus right from the undergraduate courses when they join, when they got admitted in the institutions, right from the first or second year itself. So I suggest the team of ITEY to focus more on the young generation who are in the colleges right now, to give them this kind of orientation and making them prepared for the future, and how to balance the work life and the personal life, and giving them some kind of behavioral attitude and behavioral skills. We are open for that. As an academic administrator, I would like to join hands with you to take these to the next level, and with whatever the proposal that you come and that you are that you visit our campus, yes, we are sure we will take it ahead with all the inputs and with all the requirements. And I wish a team of ITEY a grand success in the future endeavors, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sai Krishna. I think you being close to the end users, students, you really got understand what pains they are going through. I think that's where we are all coming up, especially even the team of ITEY. Most are from rural places who came till here. So as Suresh said, we have all passed through this journey, and we know the value of it, how much they need, little guidance and support that time. And where it really helps more on their mental well-being, because everyone is now virtually studying or virtually working. So that's why since people are listening now through online platforms, we want to use this time and we want to make the people like us to join virtually, to go to them and give their sessions. So the reason being of launching this digitally online is that we want to onboard lot of people like us, use their weekends time to just go and reach people massively to help them out, because sometimes physical presence is blocking us for whatever reasons we have at personal commitments at home. So this is where I thought the platform should be right in place, so that it would be easy for all of us, to onboard on the same platform and make well use of it. So I think with this, Shrikant, we would like to show the platform, whatever the launch of our website. So I'll just quickly go through on the lines. I think whatever the JP sir and panel members spoke about it. So we are working on those lines. I would like to briefly show you the platform once, a website. So Shrikant, I am taking the control.
Sure, Shishma. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Let's officially launch it.
Yeah. Yep. So this is the website name, ITEY.in. So these are our programs. The program frameworks are designed about the lines which we spoke about. So basically, we want to use the core skills. We come up with the core skills which are defined by life skills. So self-awareness, coping with stress, emotions, interpersonal, effective communication, and empathy, and all the cognitive skills are the key life skills which are defined by UNICEF and UNESCO. So using those as the base skills, which we have created another layer on top of it, which really helps to, connect to the youth in nurturing them. Because I see for rural youth, these skills are not there. So we have to start building, nurturing from starting till the end. Because especially I see in the urban colleges, they have certain kind of exposure to the things. So they themselves can deal with few things. But for the rural youth, I feel we have to start from scratch. As rightly said by Sai Krishna sir, we all need to start in the academics, to make them actually focused on these skills. So we have designed programs on top of life skills, and we have come up with another layer and designed with 3 modules: leading self by recreating self-branding themselves, and we have social skills, which sir spoke about, on the communication, seeking feedbacks, how to avoid peer pressures, image and appearance. And we have come up with cognitive models, how our goals has to be agile, how you have to be revising, and effective planning and execution. So with this, we have even designed a easily downloadable youth toolkit, which they can use day to day, so that they can implement at the end of the day itself. It's not a lot of process involved. And then we are actually directing steps towards inner engineering. So it's all, I feel, whatever I feel actually everything starts from within. So that's where we want to divert everything with all these skills, where they will start focusing on inner engineering and discover themselves, whatever they are, to use the potential to the core. So as I said, these are the life skills which defined by WHO and UNICEF. So we will be covering this, and then we will be talking about the workplace preparedness and going with them and making them future ready. These are the programs and these are the resources which we as a team actually we thought would be useful for the youth to just go through, because they always have questions, and we also have gone through during our childhood. So we have documented few things, and there are already good articles written by many people. So we have documented main and redirected to the main articles. So youth can use these resources. And we have blogs which are creatively written by our young team, how actually creating empathy. Empathy is something actually we are not talking about, but now people are speaking that word, how it is important, to gateway to create the trust, and how you can be more effective by being empathetic to the people. So we come up with the creative blocks here. And now for the registrations, so whatever the training offerings, whatever we are doing, we are providing an option in the platform, either to register as a student and to register their colleges for getting our training programs. So once we get those registration, then we will get connect to them, and then we will be offering the training programs. So, and to the professionals like us, experienced professional like us who want to, because we need to go massively to cover a lot of colleges, because our intention is to have a participants maximum of 25 people only, because we want to make impactful training programs so that at the end of the month, that 20 members should be transformational. So to take in small batches, definitely we need a lot of people from industry, software industry like us with different experiences and professionals to onboard, and so that we can massively go and help and reach all the colleges. So to reach out to us, please click on get involved and please provide your details. We'll get back to you. So, and it is most welcome to join our mission to empower youth, and actually we make a difference. So with this, so these are our offerings. So congratulations, and we have launched the platform officially now. Yeah. So now actually we have Q&A sessions. So we have questions from the audience, and we have questions within the team when we are doing research. We have a lot of questions have come up when we are doing a research. So JP sir, we have a question for you. This question is from one of the youngest team members in our IT team. And even this is one of the questions, it keeps nagging me also. So I want to start by asking a question which has bothered even our youngest team member, Ananya, Supriya, Dhanusha as well. They are also young leads of our team. And perhaps many more have a question. What are your views on making it mandate to introduce the basic concepts of psychology at an initial stage for the students coming from rural areas and making it part of their curriculum? Because we are always going in a reactive mode in helping. Once a problem happening or when they are in depression, we are actually going, or even rural youth not even bothered about whether they are in depression or not, because mental well-being is not at all spoken about. So at least to identify what is it they are going through, is it something which we need to introduce so that they actually can self themselves, they don't need a boss or they don't need any guidance. So this is always the young team also have a question. Why you people are talking now? Why not? Because we are the youth. Why can't you introduce such things in early stage to us?
Sushma, both at school and college level, there's a lot of innovation possible. But what happened is in our systems, we want somebody to give us the direction, and then in a very perfunctory way, even if a sensible directive is given, it's very perfunctorily implemented. The soul is missing. I'm not a great believer that somebody from the top must give you a directive to include the psychology or citizenship or something else. There is enough scope for innovation. We exaggerate the control. If a university or if a college like Sai Krishna's, they start certain programs, nobody's going to stop them. Even in medical education, one of the most regulated education systems of necessity, there's tremendous room for innovation. They can introduce objectively structured clinical examinations. Nobody stops them. I've actually examined the legal framework. There's absolutely nothing that prevents us. I have known MIT professors 25, 30 years ago reaching out to me, people of Indian origin who are at retirement age and they wanted to come back and contribute to our kids here. They said, look, at our cost, we'll come to India. We'll go to universities and teach free of cost. All we recover is an opportunity because they're being undervalued. They're not really getting the best. I reached out to several vice chancellors in the country. They said, sir, our rules don't permit, UGC, rigid. This idiocy. Yeah. The new education policy is a very sound one. At long last, it recognized the problem and there's a roadmap. And therefore, there's absolutely no problem. Particularly at the university level, you're talking about school education and certain inputs. Professor Sai Krishna, right?
Yes.
Sai Krishna is there, for instance. Right now we're in the midst of floods.
Yeah.
Monsoon rain is normal. And there seems to be preliminary evidence that monsoons are increasing, not decreasing with global warming. The total rainfall and also the unevenness is increasing. Therefore, we have to live with the flooding. Now, I would be delighted if a university straight away starts, without anybody's approval or permission, a flood control program. Because whatever happens in respect to global warming, it's inevitable that even the current level is already creating flood situations in India.
Yes.
Now, that means, what do you do about the drainage control at the farm level? And that means in cities, what do you do about the urban management, about contour survey, a simple thing like a contour survey, a low cost, technology intensive effort to understand the contours so that your water lines, your sewerage system, your roads, and your stormwater drainage, they're linked to the contour surveys. Everywhere in the world, they do it. In India, we have absolutely no understanding. And then we complain. So these are all issues amenable to sensible managerial and technological solutions. And unless education institutions are they embrace with alacrity these as opportunities, we continue to languish. Our universities and colleges and schools have become factories for admission and examination. In between, there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's a joke. I'm being very harsh deliberately because we have to re-examine. This is just not right. Some of the finest brain power we're wasting in this country. And ultimately, people like Suresh or Priyesh and others, they all have to do something to innovate subsequently. Almost every one of them will tell you they were not prepared at the university level, which is very sad. And I particularly endorse what Priyesh and Sai Krishna said. This whole rural-urban thing, not only because of the romanticism of rural-urban areas, the total manufacturing sector in the organized sector in the world employs only about 200 million people out of a total population of nearly 7 billion people now. Therefore, unless we recognize that there are a lot of areas where your physical presence is not required and you can still have a decent employment, we are not looking into the future. And as a part of what Priyesh said, in situ urbanization, people migrating to Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. Some people have to necessarily go with your skills of a very high order, only big cities can absorb it. But for the rest of the people, there are people there. There are services required. Either remotely you can provide services or you can serve the local people. That's what improving the quality of life is about. In India, we have forgotten about it. There's no understanding at all. So there is so much that can be done. I see immense opportunity all around. And I find many educational institutions are simply not seizing the opportunities.
Yeah. And I completely resonate with you because I can make out what you are saying. So don't wait for any orders to come. I think all the institutions should take it forward. Who is going to stop you when you're coming with new initiatives to help the children out? Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yep. So I think team has few questions to the panel also. I think over to you, team.
Yeah, Rajesh here. So I have a question to Mr. Suresh. So Suresh, while Sushma was talking about you, she was mentioning that you have developed some center which helps students from rural engineering colleges to find opportunities in various organizations, right? So the panelists and the guests have talked about a few things which probably are needed. From your perspective, can you just tell us a few other areas which you probably help these engineering students or others to actually, I mean, apart from academics, right? Is there anything else that you actually impart during this time? Any other
sure. Very, very important question. And this is what we go through day in, day out when we try to hire people. And, it's not only limited to IT industry, across the industries. So one of the major factors for young people to become productive individuals depends on where they live. Many social and economical factors may aid or hinder their progress because the kind of schools they're going to and the kind of programs the schools has, and are they really ready by the time they come out of the colleges, are they really ready ready with all the skills required by the employer to do their job. I mean, these are the very important factors actually, where we can focus and what we can do. I mean, in my mind, we can focus on, extending skill-based training in rural communities, for example, through community-based training initiatives. So this may not, directly related to IT, but in all other areas, because most of our rural population is looking for different kind of jobs, and identifying the skill gaps and help them with upgrading skill level for them to approach the opportunities with greater confidence. So when I say that a lot of people come from rural background, and when you look at, when you interview them, especially in our organization also, I personally, when we started our Hyderabad office, I interviewed a lot of people. And when I interviewed them, if you talk to them about the technology and the specific tech language we are talking about, and they're so good. But end of the day, if we want to utilize this particular resource for a project, they may, I mean, most of our projects that we need to communicate to our onshore teams, where a lot of different people from a lot of different countries will be involved, and everybody from the team need to communicate to all of these people and should be able to express their ideas and their thoughts on how they're going to design, deliver, and how they're going to execute the whole project. I mean, that is so important. And from company perspective, when you think about it, they will not have time to train these people on every one of the aspects and make them ready. So things are so dynamic. If you think about it, when I started in IT, we used to do a methodology called waterfall. The project used to start in January and we used to deliver it in December. And now every day, when you talk to a team from onshore, you have to showcase what you have done by end of the day. This is so important. And with all this, think about the current pandemic situation. I mean, this is great for people who has experience and who are already in the industry and who has all the skills required for the projects. But think about, the kind of growth in our service industry for India, in India that we are seeing. It's humongous. So what is needed? We need to make our resources ready for more and more projects. So how do we do that? And we need to build more teams and better teams. And when people are working from home, I mean, it's a difficult situation for people who just grabbed a new opportunity and need to work on a new project. So, I mean, I see a lot of skill gaps there. And especially when we talk about rural people, I mean, the resources from rural areas, as part of our company's recruitment, we have tried so many people and we are able to successfully help some of them, and some of them we could not, just because the gap is too wide. And when you think about the communication skills or the tech skills, and we have to send them back to the institutes and we need to get them trained and then bring them back into projects. We had to do all kind of things to help them. So we can also actually create some opportunities for internships so that they understand the real-time environment and also understand how they can be ready tomorrow once they're out of college, and when they need to start working for a multinational company. And we can as well facilitate entrepreneurship education and management trainings. And this is more from, let's say, for example, from rural perspective, people who are from farming background and what they can do. I mean, if you look at the stats, the next big industry is food industry. I mean, not everybody need to come and work in IT industry, and there will be so many opportunities in farming too. And if we can train them on certain, if you take Hyderabad, we have so many universities where they can create some kind of internships, and they can come in and they can get trained on areas like organic farming and all, and they can go back and they can do wonders, and they can export all their products. And that's how, not all the rural population need to migrate to urban areas to get opportunities. And one other very important thing is, organizations like ITEY can influence government to reforming and strengthening national skill policies and improving training systems by providing the factual information. This is very important. I know that this is not easy, especially in India. But I mean, people like you, I mean, I would love to be there wherever I can help. But people like you, when you started these kind of organizations, I'm sure, government will listen to you. At least, you need to try to see if you have to make a bigger impact. So how you can influence these reforms. I have done my mechanical engineering, and I have founded a IT services company, and you can imagine what I went through in my life. I'm sure in India, every engineer, most of the engineers, they're not doing what they learned in the school. And once you join any organization, you're starting from scratch, and you're learning everything, and you're trying to understand how any application works, and then you're learning the attitude there itself, and how much you're learning from school. That is a bigger question now, and those things need to be changed. That's where we need to see, if we can talk to the government and present the facts and see, how much we can influence in those areas. And I myself, born in a very small village, and I'm sure, I touched most of these scenarios and went through all kind of situations, and finally where I am. And when I try to help, the same people came from the same place, and I feel so sad, sometimes, it's very difficult for me to help them because of the skill gap and what is happening in the colleges, and a lot of these scenarios. I'm so happy to see what you guys are doing, and I want to congratulate you again. And it's great to hear JP sir here, and thank you for this opportunity to be here. Thank you, Sushma.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so I do have a question, and this is for Mr. Priyesh. Hi, Priyesh. My name is Neha. I'm one of the co-team member of ITEY, right? And so since you come from an HR background, right, and as an employer, right, so we do see a lot of strength. So according to you, what is that strength that you find in youth that we feel that, you think that there is a possibility for us to nurture? So what is that according to you? Or in other words, if I can say that, what is the gap that you see that we can actually help in filling? So, yeah.
Hi, Sneha. So I think the biggest advantage of getting youth to any organization, regardless of the skill gap, is they bring a lot of energy into any organization, because as you see the profile of an organization, it's an aging profile you would see, unless you have fresh blood coming in, and you need that, because that's when you get new ideas, new ways of doing things. It results in healthy conflicts, because when you have conflict is when you will be able to identify, okay, you can do something in a better way, and that can only happen when you have the youth come in. Otherwise organizations won't succeed, because if you look at a services background, I'm sure Suresh will understand, would appreciate this, because the cost structure that we have in India is because we are able to produce at a much lower cost than maybe in US or in Europe. That is why we are able to get IT jobs into India. And as you would know, every year companies give out comp revisions, right? I mean, everybody's salary goes up by a certain percentage. And if that continues, what will happen is at some point, you will not be economically viable to get that business into India. So companies invest a lot in youth, to get freshers, to get people from the campus and train them, so that you can maintain that cost structure. And otherwise, none of us will have jobs, right? I mean, all of us will be jobless in some sense, because that business won't come into India. And that is where the skill gap becomes that much more magnified. And to be very honest, whenever any company hires from campus, regardless of whether the hire is from a rural background or from an urban college, every single company invests time, at least 3 months, in training them, making them ready to be deployed onto a project. Because I cannot take somebody from a college and directly deploy onto a project. It's a very, very rare scenario that would happen, because the person is not ready to interact with the stakeholders. They do not have the background or the maturity to understand several things that will happen at the same time. So college to corporate life is a huge transition that they need to make, and that is something that companies invest in. And it's a myth, actually, according to me, it's a myth that people from a rural college, have skill gaps. That is true, of course, but that gap exists even in urban colleges. I mean, I've seen this where we have hired from colleges in Bangalore. They struggle in the exact same manner. They're unable to communicate. And as JP sir said, communication, it's a very critical thing. And it is not about spoken language. It is not about English. It is not about, how you speak. It's rather about, do you have the confidence to express ideas? Do you have the confidence to interact with people, share your thoughts, ask questions? Only then you will be able to, display, okay, I also have this talent. And that's where, the difference is. And I think that's where companies like ITEY can actually help people to build that confidence. Because what we see is people, students from the rural background, maybe their confidence is a little lower, because they do not have the same exposure as a college in Bangalore or Hyderabad because of the way the cities are structured. So they go into a shell, so they don't communicate that much, and somebody observing them will think, okay, the person doesn't know to communicate, while the person might be an excellent programmer for all you may know. And I think that's the kind of gap that we see. But youth is the way forward for any company, so it cannot be discounted.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Priyesh.
Hello, sir. I am Nilima Boppana, and I'm also one of the core team member of ITEY. And I would like to ask a question to Mr. Sai Krishna, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, can you? Yes, sir. Sir, can you share the feedbacks which you received from the employees on the students' holistic performance, sir? General feedbacks.
Yeah. In my opening remarks itself, I talked about that. See, a lot of companies which keep coming to my campus, even, there are certain regular visitors. Let's say, there are repeated players in my campus. If you talk about the top 5 recruiters, they come every year. They pick hundreds of students, but still, every year, they keep giving one feedback that, yeah, students should have acquired some behavioral skills before they come for the interview. Because when I say behavioral skills, that includes the communication skills also. And out of the box, some recruiters talk about the social consciousness, because particularly the startups which work in the space of agriculture, in the space of medical technology, they talk something about the social consciousness. And students should be exposed to the society, and they should be connected to the society rather. So these should be addressed properly before they are produced to the employer. Yeah, technically they are good, because we teach them day in and day out about the technologies. We deploy them on the the projects, mini projects or academic projects, and of course there are internships. We will take them through 2-3 weeks of internship with a short internship with any industry, such identified vertical of industry. But still, these skills we cannot teach them on the campus, because in our curriculum, as JP sir has rightly pointed out, there are UGC and AICTE are so rigid, and in fact they have given us certain model curriculum, and then we have to prepare, or we have to design our curriculum according to that only. We can't just go beyond that. Even if you try to include certain concepts which talk about all these concepts or which addresses these concerns, immediately we should get the syllabi ratified by the UGC or AICTE, which generally they don't do. They say that this does not comply or in line with the model syllabus, what the curriculum what we have given. So yes, our hands are tied, but still we are trying on our own to introduce certain concepts as an additional courses, as a certain non-credited courses or audited courses, something like that. But the general feedback is, yeah, the communication skills and the presentation skills, these are the major concerns. So even if we try a lot of by a lot of other means we try, like sometimes we hire trainers from the other agencies or English and foreign languages university and all, but still we could see delta X enhancement in terms of performance, but there is no much improvement over the last decade, I should say. So I expect, in fact, that's what I've been talking to Sushma also. I expect ITEY should focus more on this, how to train the students on communication skills, or how to make them more communicative or conversant rather when they are put across the table. So this is the common feedback.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I think it's a wonderful talk by all the panel, and it really gives us, much more clarity of what we want to do, because we want to keep evolving with the feedbacks received by you people. I think all the inputs given by JP sir and the panel members are so valuable. And to do such things, great things like what we started, it can't be achieved by one or two people alone, and should be accomplished by a group of people who are committed to overall goal and move faster by innovative ways. I am proud of the team who volunteered to help drive this initiative along with me to make a difference for all graduating students of rural engineering. So what really binds us together is about the willingness to make a difference in rural youth. So we volunteers here in the ITEY are the one who willingly invest time to empower youth. So Shrikant, let us introduce our team now. Shrikant, we don't hear the music. Okay, I think we missed the music. Music was so much good at the background, but I think I thank each one of the members. Soon I asked, they just said yes, because that was the time 1 year back. I just have a thought, some kind of higher ideas how to put it across, and they all stepped in to do along with me research and to come to this level. Shrikant, would you like to play with audio also? So team will find more motivating to see themselves. Just a moment.
Yes, Sushma, let's do that.
Yes, because yeah. So I would like to do my extended thanks, Sunita Kolli, who is a director at Intellect Intronics Private Limited, who always been a great mentor. And I think the story of one I started 1.5 years back, she is there all the time. So thanks, Sunita, for being with me and listening to whatever I say and helping in shaping up the process and leveraging to use their Zoom platforms. Thank you, Sunita. And I thanks Rohit Vijay, who barely with me for last 1.5 years to design this web work support. Thank you, Rohit. So with this, I would like to thanks. So we have a question. Can I ask? Yeah, please. I think we are okay for one question. Vijaya, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a psychologist, Sushma. Yeah, happy to be here listening to all this empowerment of youth and all. But these days I'm getting all clients, different issues with youth, especially after COVID, suffering from a lot of mental health issues. So as a part of empowerment, is there any, idea of you, or you're already doing, I don't know actually, but is there any facility of giving them psychological assistance along with the empowerment? Because it's like a rat race. It's like studying engineering, IT, and again coming to jobs and how to get job. All the skills generally you provide will be related to communication skills, this how to present, how to crack the interviews, all these things. So is there any facility for the youth from your side to assist psychologically also to cope up with the negative things which they are going through? This is what I just wanted to ask.
Thanks, Vijaya. I think well asked this question. This is something which I always have in mind. Definitely, I have another project which is focused completely on this. So we are providing a platform where we listen to youth issues, because there are certain things, even though how much parents are close, we as a parent or even teachers or whoever, they feel that they are lost. So we want always a third person to listen to the youth problems. It's not that we may solve the issues immediately, but it's just that we want to lend a ear to hear those issues. So definitely there is a project in pipeline post this one, where we just focus only on, listening to youth issues and then see where we can help out with I need to work on forming a group of volunteer psychologists for that project. I think that is in pipeline. So I'll definitely come back to you because you are a psychologist. So I'll take your help.
Yeah, thank you, Sushma, for that. And glad to hear that from you. And just wanted to share that Sunita Kolli and I are classmates.
Oh, okay.
And she sent the link for me. So I came here, ended up here.
Thank
and
you.
Thanks for everyone here. And thank you.
Thank you, Vijaya. And with this, I want to thanks each one of you who really spent this Saturday making time for being part of this event, because this event is something which we want to take in a massive way, and you being here is really a very good thing for us. So I think the best gift you can give to someone is your time, so which already you have given time to us. And because you're giving them something you can never get back. So I thank each one of you to be part of and making launch our successful. Thanks a lot. And we have actually, for the participants who are in YouTube, I know a lot of college students are there. So we have come up with some surveys, which we are taking data, where we can actually come up with better programs to you. So we design according to your needs. So please fill those surveys. It really helps us to get the right data. Thank you all. Thank you, JP sir, Suresh, Priyesh, Sai Krishna, and all the wonderful audience to be part of this Saturday evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.